Hey guys, so in today's video I want to talk to you about this little thing right here. Now these look different from facility to facility, but it is the stop and watch form. I had somebody request me to talk about the stop and watch form and how you can report changes in your resident's condition to the nurse. So basically this is the one that we used at my most recent place of employment. Not the place that I currently work, but my very last one. And this is the Interact Early Warning Tool, and it says interventions to reduce acute care transfers. So basically, I will actually do like a sample. I'll fill it out and show you like what I would put if I was, reporting changes on one of my residents at work. So basically, what it says is, if you have identified an important change while caring for a resident today, please circle the change and discuss it with the charge nurse before the end of your shift. Now, we didn't necessarily have to report it to the charge nurse. All we had to do was fill out one of these, keep the yellow copy for my own records, just so that I can verify that I actually did give this to someone. And on it at the bottom, it has the staff, who you reported it to, the date and the time. So then there is actually like proof that you reported this change in condition to someone and it wasn't just overlooked, or you didn't just not report it at all. So basically all you need to put on here is the name of the resident, and then you can either put a little check mark next to the letters, or you can circle the letter just to signify which one corresponds to whatever changes you've noticed in your resident. I will fill this out and then I will show you like what it looks like, and then I'll kind of go over like certain things that I would be sure to mention that may not be talked about on here, but would bother me, if I didn't let somebody know about it. So let me fill this out real quick and I will come back and show you guys what it's like when it's done. Okay, so now you can see, this is what I was telling you about the Interact Early Warning Tool. You can see what it says. So this is our resident, Betty Jones, and no, I have never had any resident named Betty Jones. Just FYI, so I'm not using any information about a real person. So I kind of circled and marked what I put in different ways, so you can kind of see how I've seen different people do it. As long as you get this information to somebody about the change in the resident's condition, that's what really matters. So you can see, seems different than usual, talks or communicates less than usual, overall needs more help than usual, and participated in activities less than usual. I marked off talks or communicates less than usual. I put an X and a little dash mark, and then I also circled it all. Ate less than usual, not because of dislike of food. Drank less than usual, and as you can see, I circled the entire thing. Weight change, agitated or nervous more than usual, tired, weak, confused, or drowsy, change in skin color or condition, help with walking, transferring, toileting more than usual, and I put a square around weight change, and a C, I circled the C on change in skin color or condition, and then you sign it, my name, CNA, Sally Nurse, RN, the date, which is way in the future, and then the time. So like I said, this is important just so that you can let somebody know about the change in your resident's condition. There are other things that I would let people know also that are not on a stop and watch form. Now, let me flip this around real quick before I go into what I was about to say. So one of the things that I really watch out for, especially since I work with the elderly and I work with a lot of people who have dementia, It says, you know, on the watch part, it says tired, weak, confused, or drowsy. However, when somebody has dementia, they're confused a lot. So does that mean they're just confused in general? Or are they more confused than normal? I like to let people know if they're more confused than normal, because I think that it's a big thing. If they're being combative, they could have a UTI. If they're being confused, they could have a UTI. A whole lot of things could be going on. I also let people know if they just seem a little off. And yes, it says on here, seems different than usual, but that could be taken a lot of different ways. Like, I wouldn't necessarily fill out a stop and watch form if somebody's just acting a little bit off. I would let the nurse know, of course, but I wouldn't necessarily fill out a stop and watch form right away. I would kind of try to figure out exactly what's going on. Maybe they're upset about something that happened with a family member, or they missed someone, something happened, they're just not feeling good. I like to let the nurse know everything that I see, even if it's just like, obviously on here there is change in skin color or condition. So any redness, any irritation, any rashes, anything, I let them know. And I know that they get annoyed by me doing it because even if I'm gone for a weekend and I notice, like I come back and I notice there's something different about the residents that I work with every day, I let the nurse know, and a lot of times they already know about it, but I don't care. I'm gonna let you know anyways. I've had a lot of nurses get irritated with me because I will constantly let them know if there's something that I haven't ever noticed before. And I'll even say, you know, I don't know if anybody's reported this yet, but such and such is different. Like, I've had a resident before who was contracted, and you know, the way that she was contracted, like her leg would always be crossed over the other leg. And so she developed a redness, and there was supposed to be like a little pillow between her legs, but a lot of the other CNAs weren't actually putting the pillow there. So when I would come in, like the pillow wouldn't, like hardly ever would it be there, first of all. And you know, her skin underneath, because it was touching constantly, you know, it was really red. And I noticed like people not changing people. Like I would notice like their backs, you can tell when they've been laying, like somebody who's stuck in the bed, you can tell when they haven't been turned or repositioned or anything. So I let them know everything, which can sometimes be or cause you to be given like a reputation as a tattletale, but I'm not necessarily telling on you. I'm just letting the nurse know that, you know, something's different with my patient or my resident, and somebody needs to know, because I'm not okay with being the person who didn't report even just the tiniest little difference, and then something happens to the resident, or you know, they're affected in such a way that it really is detrimental to their health. So that's just kind of a quick video talking about the stop and watch forms. Like I said, with the stop and watch form, you give the top portion to whoever you're reporting it to, and this you keep, because you always want to have the documentation that you actually did tell somebody. And with it having the date and the time, you need to make sure that it is written down and documented, just in case somebody comes back later and asks why you didn't report it. You can pull out your copy of the stop and watch form and you can say, hey, I actually did report it to Sally Nurse at such and such a day, such and such a time on this day. So then you're kind of covering your own butt in the process. So if you have any other questions about stop and watch forms or reporting changes or just anything in general, be sure to let me know. Any topics you'd like me to address, let me know that as well. And I look forward to seeing you guys in a couple days with my next video.